podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
First there was the original.
I thought it might be nice for kids. Keep them off the street, you know.
Then the basic.
This is a simple game.
Then the first version of the advanced.
Good, clean, wholesome fun.
Now the hammer comes down. Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn second edition AD&D podcast ever. Welcome back to THACO's Hammer, the best damn second edition AD&D show ever. I am DM Glen, your host, with DM Brian.
Hello.
And DM Corey.
Hello.
Hello. Almost forgot your name. I don't know why.
Thanks, man.
Oh, no problem.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's not like we've been doing this
Anytime.
Unforgettable. Well, that's what you are.
Sit down. Let me see your character sheet. Go get a drink, and we'll get going here. And first thing we're going to do is talk about what we did. So hits and crits, folks.
What do you feel like doing tonight?
I don't know, Ange. What do you feel like doing?
Oh, we ought to do something at Saturday night. I don't want to go bowling like last Saturday. Oh, what do you feel like doing tonight?
I don't know, Ange. What do you feel like doing?
Hits and crits. Hits and crits. Okay, guys, which one do you want to go first? What did you do this week, gaming-wise?
Oh, I'll go first.
Speak up.
Still messing around with whiteboard programs, and now I'm at the point where I'm going to start looking into actual people who want to play. I know that, or at least I would suspect the two of you would be interested.
Okay, you're talking about Skype game right here, right?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
do you need a whiteboard program for a Skype game? I don't think, I think Vince Bucasaros, I don't think he uses one.
Well, ever since I started using miniatures and on a board, it's sort of, I won't say it's a crutch, but I will say it's something of a necessity.
Okay.
So, I mean, it just makes things easier for me to see, the result of what players are doing. So, I just, like I said, I'm still trying to find one that, is open-ended enough that I can actually run a second edition game without running face first into OGL and third edition rules and so forth.
Gotcha. I thought, you say whiteboard program, I just assume it's a generic
like map tools and stuff like that.
Yeah, not geared toward any edition, just you use it for live playing.
Yeah, there are a couple of them that are out there that are just generic whiteboards to be able to be used to throw a map up, to throw a grid up, and what have you. There are also a lot of them out there that actually have themes that you can essentially just add in a modification into the program that already have all the rules written out, already have all the monsters built up, already have all the stats written out for you. So as a DM, you just plug in the 3.5 mod and you can pull monsters out or whatever. But it's funny because you can't find one for second.
No.
That's weird.
There was one I saw that actually have second edition rules, but they want $60 for it, and I'm like, screw that.
So we're going to come back next week. What'd you do gaming, Brian? I bought this whiteboard program.
No, not unless I get a nice little windfall. That's not happening. I already owe the IRS $100.
Oh, you are a piker, my friend. How much do you owe?
In addition to your comment, I just want to let everybody know that Wizards of the Coast has actually brought out the one thing that tempted me to go to 4th edition, which was their virtual tabletop, their VT. Oh. No, I wish.
Booze?
They promised everybody who would log on and pay for their monthly subscription to their D&D Insider, they get digital copies of Dragon Magazine, digital copies of Dungeon Magazine, and this virtual tabletop to be able to play D&D and see your character, and it never went through. Well, they're now beta testing the new version, and from what I've been told by friends of mine who are actually beta testing it, it is phenomenal. So I don't know if it's going to be edition specific, which I'm thinking it might be, but
I went straight Monty Python on that. Well, if you start this virtual tabletop, you get something special. What? A new lady. If you want part of the tabletops, you have to keep a brawn. And we anyway,
Wow.
sorry.
It's
Well,
okay.
what
It's
about
okay.
Corey? What about you? What have you been doing?
I've been working on my world, still typing it out, making that Word document bigger and bigger. Haven't been drawing much, but I'm thinking about getting back into my illustrating and maybe drawing up some artwork for some more illustrations for my book. We'll see. Not much in the way of gaming, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Me. Well, I haven't. I've been buying other than 2 edition because, frankly, I'm running out of 2nd edition stuff to buy around here.
I do have to make. I apologize for cutting you off. I do have
That's
to
okay.
make a comment here and give a public thank you to my one great friend of mine who actually mailed me a copy of the Celtic Adventure campaign book.
What a dude!
What a dude! Great guy. Thanks, Glenn.
You're welcome. Of course, with a printed out map for me, because somebody took the map out of it when I got it.
What all did you buy this week?
Oh, it's like I said, it's non-2E because, like I said, I'm running out of 2E stuff to buy around here. Let's see.
Bought out everything in town from what
Pretty
you've been telling
much.
us.
And, well, I bought a copy of Holmes Rules, and I told you, no, we did the D&D's magazine last time. And to my shame, I bought my 2E purchase this week was Player's Options, Skills and Powers. Only because
That's a dark road to go down.
Yes, and it's not going to get used except to review here.
Once you start down the dark path forever, will it dominate your destiny? Consume you it will. Sorry. Yeah,
You're
we're going to have a discussion about that book.
Okay. And I found out of the bowels of my boxes in the garage my Aurora's Whole Realms catalog.
Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
And can you tell me how to save it? I think the cover's coming off.
Yeah, actually on Dragon's Foot, there's a whole article. One of the guys on there actually wrote, if I'm not mistaken, it was Egg of Coot, who wrote a very nice article about preserving books and fixing them.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, you might want to look on Dragon's Foot in their forums.
Don't they even have an article about like making your own DM screen?
Yeah, making your own DM screen and making your own books, printing out a PDF and making your own hardcover.
Yeah, but because I'm doing a DM screen for the con for Rule Cyclopedia, and I've got everything printed out, and it's like, where do I go from here? And trying to get Kinko's to laminate it and all this other stuff, and I said, I wonder if I can do this by myself.
Yeah, you can do it. It's fairly easy as long as you follow the instructions. When I read the instructions on how to actually bind hardback books, I was like, wow, that's a lot of steps, but it's really easy. Yeah. And the step-by-step they have up there is really, really informative.
Cool. And that's dragonsfoot.org, which we are a part of. The second edition forum, also purpleworm.org. Yeah, purpleworm.org and thacoshammer@gmail.com. So, are we ready to go into option package, guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's move on.
My personality undergoes a startling change.
You should meet me because I'm a great guy.
I like big fat men like you. When they fall, they make more noise. And sometimes they never get up.
Option package.
Option package. We're getting down to the second tier of splat books, the Complete Barbarian's Handbook.
Number 2148 on the TSR library.
TSR hit list. And do they give any kind of main author?
Rick Swan.
Rick Swan, yes. He's done like a couple.
He's the designer. A lot of the editing was Roger Moore and Alan Varney.
Uh-huh. Good.
But
it's Alan Varney. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
There's a blast from the past.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My favorite in here is two of my favorite fantasy painters are Clyde Caldwell and Jeff Easley. Did a lot of the color artwork inside.
Oh, nice.
I actually met Clyde Caldwell.
You did?
Yes. DragonCon 94. Everybody was there.
Wow.
Larry Elmore was there. Clyde Caldwell was there. I think Parkinson was there, but I can't remember. It was so long ago. We're talking 17 years now.
You mean the late, great Dan Parkinson?
Yeah. Keith Parkinson, isn't
Keith
it?
Parkinson. I'm sorry. Yes, Keith Parkinson.
Yeah, late great Keith Parkinson. I'm trying to remember. I think he was, but I'm not sure. But yes, I met Clyde Caldwell, and he was in the dealer's room with the majority of his artwork and so forth. And
cool.
You know, you can't help but smirk a little bit because all the women that he draws are pretty much almost the exact same physical model. Weren't they based off his wife or something?
A lot of artists do that.
Yeah, a lot of artists will use the same model
from
because
Frazetta all the way down.
That's true. Well, yeah, Frazetta had Julie Bell, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, crack this bad boy open. What are we talking about, like kit wise?
They got a full list of barbarian kits
and cleric kits.
And the cleric kits. Yes. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fighter kits and 6 cleric kits.
That's a lot.
There's a really good chapter in here about the barbarian cultures. A lot of people think that they're just wild wilderness living survivalists that hate magic and
they think they're all Conan.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not. Reading through this book, there's a lot of information in here that allows you to play a barbarian differently than the normal tropes that are out there for when you're playing a barbarian character. Yeah. It's just there's a full section on the role playing, which I always find really good. And one of the things I found in the table of contents that aren't in the earlier ones is a full list of pages of all the tables. Makes it quicker to go through the books and get your references for whatever you need.
Yes. Yes. Got some kits in there. I was going to say there's no magic items in there.
No, there are not any magic items. There is a weapons and equipment section. I think we both might be wrong. I think there's a couple magic items.
So of all the kits, you got any favorites?
I'm gonna have to go with the one that we were gonna talk about today, the Brush Runner.
The Bush Runner?
The Brush Runner.
Is it Brush Runner?
It's Brush Runner.
Okay, I misspelled it then. Okay.
That's all right.
Cool. There's another one in there that it's basic. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically the Native American.
The Plains Rider.
Plains Rider. That's basically, the Cheyenne, Cherokee, all those, all
for
those
those of you who still remember the world, Riverwind.
I was just about to say that.
Dragonlance fame.
Yes, that's pretty. I think that's pretty much who the kit was based off of.
Really?
That is correct.
See, I don't know that kind of stuff. They got to tell me about it.
You have to read Dragonlance. At least the original 3 books.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. What are you going to do? Take my food?
No, we're
if I have to.
Books.
Reminds me of that Family Guy. Brian, will you read the book if I put a piece of bologna in it? And the leader, Russia's, hey, bologna.
That's pretty good. One of the other things that I saw was how to role play actual language barriers. With barbarian characters.
Interesting.
And, basically, what it is that the barbarians player basically says what he's trying to convey, and then you take the barbarian's intelligence and the intelligence of the person he's trying to communicate with, combine them, then roll a check of 2d20 against it, so that you could have like a barbarian with, say, like a 6 intelligence or something like that, who can only communicate in gestures and grunts and stuff like that. And actually have, like, the mage with the 18 intelligence actually figure out what the big lunk's trying to say. I thought that's ingenious.
I think our muscular friend here is trying to say.
Wow, he brought a voice out.
Yeah. They come out every once in a while. So, I'm thinking that maybe this Barbarian's Handbook, looking at the clerical stuff, would probably be a good adjunct to use with either the Wizard's or the Priest's Handbook.
You mean an adjunct?
Adjunct. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because because you can start getting into like the shamans and the witch doctors.
Yes.
And they're basically barbarian priests.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're trying to avoid the like. To me, the reason they don't put any magic items or spells in here is because of the old superstition of barbarians don't like magic.
Right.
Then why would they have the shamans?
Well,
Yeah, in my opinion, a lot of the cleric kits that are in here would fit much better in the Druid's Handbook.
Really?
Yeah, when I think shaman, I see more of a druid than I do a cleric, and they have it under cleric kits.
That makes sense.
I wouldn't see him as a cleric, even though cleric's the base class that you would pull a kit off of. Yeah. But still, the Druid's Handbook has kits in it of itself. So, like, the medicine man, medicine woman, you're talking about nature, dealing with herbalism, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
The spiritist, you're talking about spirits in the woods, spirits of wherever. Right. To me, it would just seem natural that they should have been in the Druid's Handbook.
You're probably right. But yeah, there's a lot of juicy things in here. This is a good one.
Yes, definitely.
See, it still doesn't convince me to play a barbarian, but I appreciate. Well, hello? Oh,
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I whistled. I appreciate the effort they went to, and there is some stuff I could probably cherry pick for other classes, other characters, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. I've had a lot of barbarians in my groups DMing, and it's funny. No matter who picks this book up and goes, "Oh, I found a great idea for my character," they all degrade down to Thundar, the barbarian.
Thundar or Conan or so. Yeah,
they all do. No, I've never seen anyone play one that doesn't degrade eventually to. Okay, I'm swinging. I'm up front.
Yeah.
Well,
and I get tired of people playing. Basically, when they go in, they're playing a barbarian. When they go into town, it's always like Tarzan in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that? Oh, this man is funny. Oh, it's like God. Please, come on, play your intelligence. No, don't play your intelligence. I'm sorry, play your wisdom. There we go.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's part of the stereotype against barbarians is also that everybody seemed to think that Conan was just somebody who beat the crap out of everybody. And that's not exactly true. The man could think.
He could.
The man could think tactically. He just wasn't always just, flying by the seat of his breechcloth, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
He was smart. He could actually outthink people, which of course, ended up shocking those who actually saw that he could think. It's just he had a much different and a much more, how should I say it? A much more elemental way of thinking. If you catch my drift.
Yeah.
That might not be the right word though.
You don't want to say simple, but he was more of a noble savage.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, there I go.
But,
but yes, yeah, I know. But getting back to the kits, another kit that I like a lot is the Wizard Slayer, which is one of the tropes of a barbarian.
Yeah.
And something that is sort of like familiar to most people who have seen or played a barbarian character in previous editions.
The bane of the evil high priest or mage.
Mm-hmm.
These guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like in the Beastmaster and stuff like that.
This is kind of the how shall I say it? It's kind of the counterpart to the that one wizard that wants to destroy magic.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that an elf? I can't remember which. But there's another one where they want to destroy magic, but they're not barbarians.
Right. No, that strikes a chord somewhere. I just can't pull it out of my head right now.
Which we probably talked about in a previous show. We don't remember.
Maybe.
Yeah, we probably glanced over it at some point.
Yeah.
And then,
Anyway, Barbarian's Handbook. Tell us how you use it at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Or not use it, or even some stories about some barbarians you've known in game, of course.
Oh, yes.
And our line is our voicemail is 405-806-0555. And now let's go into people skills because we got something related to this.
The face is familiar.
It's mine.
And so it is.
Oh, yes, of course. It stands out a mile, doesn't it? He's so common.
A little lady comes in here and starts throwing her butt around. What is that supposed to do?
All right, forget I said anything.
Maybe I will.
Well, that's pretty good.
But don't tell me you weren't looking at it.
Well, that's not half bad.
She's giving it right back to you.
People skills.
People skills? The Bush Runner. Go, Corey. Your favorite.
Bush Runner. Sure, you're going to put me on the spot. I see
Brush Runner.
The Brush Runner.
Brush Runner.
The Brush Runner is one of the kits in the Fighter's kits. It's the first kit listed. It kind of reminds me...
That's the Barbarian's Handbook.
Correct, in the Barbarian's Handbook. It reminds me of more like a South American Aztec Panther Warrior.
Oh, wow.
Or a Jaguar Warrior.
You know what I got off of it? Was like African...
Oh,
yes.
blues and stuff like that.
Kalahari Bushmen.
Or like the Abos in Australia or something.
Yes.
The description here says the fleet-footed brush runner lives a life of serenity, basking in the sun and chasing wild game on lushly vegetated plains. His long legs and lean body make him a natural athlete. He sprints with the speed of a cheetah and leaps with the grace of a gazelle. His harmonious relationship with nature has sharpened his aesthetic sense, encouraging him to develop his artistic skills.
That is interesting.
Yes.
Artistic. And he's got some like advantages where he makes like pieces of artwork and hello?
Yes. Yeah. He has a bunch of combat special benefits as well as non-combat special benefits. The Brush Runner can sprint at triple speed, 45 movement rate for up to 3 consecutive rounds on a single strength check.
Yeah, but then he has to rest for 3 rounds.
Yes. Yeah. He may move and fight normally afterward, but before sprinting again, he must rest without moving for as many rounds as he sprinted.
Okay.
He gets enhanced leaping and springing. He gets battle frenzy. It sounds like it's almost a version of the Dwarven Battle Rager, but without the growth and the bonuses.
Yeah.
Or the razor blade covered armor for that matter.
Oh, yeah, obviously. One of the non-combat abilities he gets is once per month, the Brush Runner can create any of the following objects, assuming necessary materials are available. A painting on a sheet of bark, a 6-foot hardwood pole, a small wooden bust of a deer or other herd animal. Mm-hmm. They bring in money.
The pole actually repels undead, which is kind of interesting.
It's a 6-foot hardwood pole called a ranga. Carved with crude images of human faces and decorated with vines. It turns of undead at a level equal to that of the Brush Runner.
Yeah, but
it's like your own pocket cleric.
Yeah, but the thing is, you got to make those every time. You cannot take it with you.
Yeah. Once you plant it, it can't go anywhere.
It's like it's protecting your area. Maybe make 4 of these and set them around where you're camped or something.
Mm-hmm. In a place where undead are prevalent.
Yeah,
I like that.
This is like a protection from undead type of thing,
especially for resting or.
So give me that again. What do they get? They get pluses to hit undead with it.
No, actually, what it does is it repels undead for 1d4 weeks, and it turns undead from the location at a level equal to that of the Brush Runner.
1d4 weeks. Wow.
If it is uprooted or defaced, it loses all of its properties.
Yeah. See, that's why it even says in there you cannot take it with you.
Yep.
Yeah. You got to make a new one fresh. But I thought that was cool. I'd love to have a character just with that ability.
They do have some hindrances. They have an armor penalty.
They don't like armor.
They do not like it. It's uncomfortable and confining. Also, every year, he has to go to his clan, or what do they call it here, a moiety, and he must go to his elders, and they give him a task. Slay a particular creature, take one of the younger Brush Runners out into the outworld and act as the child's mentor, spend a week serving the moiety collecting food, or fetch a particular gem or precious stone. Mm-hmm. So, if they fail the task, he's overwhelmed with shame, and he must destroy a favorite weapon or possession of his as payment.
Wow. And if he can't get to the elders or something like that, he will just do the same one over the next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And what is it? He will. There's something in there. He's going to like cleave onto somebody in the party as their. Like he basically says that's his mentor.
Right.
Or something like
Right.
that.
No, what happens is that if the brush runner joins an adventuring party, he acts as the moiety elder for the party.
Right.
Or actually, no, he selects a party as that, and he becomes a surrogate, and he honors the surrogate with a pledge of loyalty and
as long
small
as he
gifts.
Doesn't...
Right.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is once he selects that person as his elder, he will obey that character without question.
Above everything.
So essentially, if you had one of these in your party, you'd have your very own golem.
Yeah, sort of.
I'm thinking of it more like Lothar with Mandrake the Magician.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I pledge myself to you, that kind of thing. You are worthy. And what gets me is it says if there is nobody in the party that will do it or worthy or something like that, he will become the elder. And expects everybody to follow what he says.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be fun to role play, boy.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a big role playing opportunity.
We're going to go kill that ogre. Me not think it's a good idea. We're going to go kill him. And then it says if nobody listens to him, he just sulks.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
But he comes around after a while. Like, oh, nobody's listening to me. He's got +1 to hit for whining.
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez.
But I think that the benefits outweigh the hindrances. This is one of the more rounded kits I've seen.
Yeah, and it's actually, to me, it's out of the box. You don't get bonuses to armor. You don't get massive proficiency bonuses. This is not a combat dungeon delve kind of character. This would be for a veteran role player, and it would bring an interesting type of character to a party, in my opinion.
Yeah, that adds a nice flavor. Nice flavor. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I think it would. Such a character would add a lot to. To character interaction and the party dynamic as a whole, especially with all these things going on where, I could just see a brush runner following around, say, like, the party's paladin or whatever, and pledging himself to him and all this other stuff. And, that whole thing coming around, just being played out.
Yeah, I'm the man. Yeah.
It'd be even funnier if you had the brush runner swear himself to like the angry Irish drunk dwarf in the party. And what do you need? No, leave me alone. No, I'm here for you. No, leave me alone.
Yeah, the stereotypical angry dwarf who don't like people, or at least lets people believe that he doesn't like people.
Or the halfling. What do you want? Nothing. Go away. What do you want? No. Leave me alone. Go away. I'm trying to pick this lock. Leave me alone.
Bring me more food.
Yeah, bring me more food. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
We need
gifts. Yeah, this is just a treasure trove of role playing opportunities.
Yes,
for sure.
It is.
But only for those who are interested in such.
Ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, we like them. Do you? Let us know. THACOshammer@gmail.com and all the other places. Let's go into Rule 0.
One would think you've been doing this all your life.
We'll remember you said that.
I know. I'm sure you hate me just enough.
Rule 0.
Rule 0.
Just
destroyed the whole moment. Thank you very much.
I was doing it due to the subject of this segment.
Using music in games. Yes.
Yes.
I'm usually going to call it using music and props, but I thought we could split it up and just concentrate on the music. Because some people like to use the mood music, and some DMs, they go all out. They score their sessions. Okay, I'm gonna use this. If they fight, I'll use this, that kind of thing. How do you guys use any music or anything when you're playing?
Me personally, I do not usually game without the laptop on the DM side of the screen. I have a veritable library of soundtracks that my music rotates constantly of. Let me see, just offhand, all 3 Lord of the Rings orchestral scores, Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, Red Sonja, Interview with a Vampire, for when we're doing, especially for Ravenloft. Yeah, the orchestral score is amazing. The piano works and the harpsichord in there really work when you're in town. It's great. What else do I have on there? I have some video games on there as well.
Okay.
Vampire the Masquerade did a video game called Vampire the Requiem. It's a very, very beautifully scored game. I think it won some video game awards for the score. That's on there. And I just go online. One of the other groups I use that I wanted to make sure we talked about in here was Midnight Syndicate.
Yeah.
A lot of the people might not know about them. It's a newer group that Wizards try to use during the 3rd edition 3.5 revival, and they put out CDs of actual mood music specifically for D&D.
Yeah.
And they are flawless when you're playing. It's just when you're in the middle of a battle and everybody's kind of like, okay, whose initiative is it next? And that next song comes on and it's a battle song. I can see my people, my players at my table waking up and just like, okay, let's do this. Who's next? Let's go. It does. It amps up the party. It sets the mood.
Is that your like favorite to use?
Well, I wouldn't say favorite. They all play at the same time, but it's funny when it's a battle scene and that first Conan song comes on, the Anvil of Crom song, and everybody just starts doing the whole, the stance that Conan does right before they roll the dice. It's funny. I don't have a favorite. It's just when they're playing and when one comes on that just fits the scenario, it's perfect.
I tried music once. I just got a wild hair and said, okay, I'm going to pick out some music. And there was this big fight getting ready to happen between the player characters and a bunch of orcs and goblins. And I happened to pull up and Ennio Moroni's, was it the Legacy of Gold?
Oh, and Ennio Morricone.
And the last that final scene in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and everybody's like, their eyes start squinting, and it's like all of a sudden we're in a spaghetti. Oh, okay, I take my first swing now. If we stared at him for 5 minutes. It's all right, guys.
That's classic. Nice.
Yeah, it was beautiful. What about you, Brian? Do you use music?
I've done so in the past. I think the one that worked the best was when I briefly ran a Star Wars D20 game, and I just basically ran all six Star Wars soundtracks in the background on random, and it worked pretty well. I mean, I've only recently come into some of the fantasy soundtracks, like the aforementioned Conan soundtracks. Another good one is, at the very least, the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Oh yeah, I got that one.
That is awesome music. I mean, Klaus Battelt, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He just nailed it with the soundtrack, and it actually works. Even if it isn't like a pirate or nautical themed game.
Yeah, it's adventure.
Yeah, they're really good soundtracks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can't go wrong with Lord of the Rings. Howard Shore, Lord of the Rings.
Who doesn't have? What fantasy gamer doesn't have those soundtracks?
It's funny. Howard Shore is so versatile. He does this majestic soundtrack to all three of these movies, and a few years earlier, he was playing bongos and stuff for Tim Burton's Ed Wood.
Yeah,
and nailed that.
Really
cheesy 50. Yeah, watch Ed Wood and listen to the music.
Wow.
It's cheesy. It hits the right note. The cheesy 50s. You know, you use a theremin in there and everything. I'm going, this is the man who did Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's amazing how those movies changed certain people's lives.
Yeah.
Or like Peter Jackson, even though he was kind of known as a good director, but
in fact,
when Lord of the Rings came out, he became God.
Yeah. Well, he went right up there with Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And John Williams, for that matter. I mean, he was already well known as a great score, as a great conductor of great scores. I mean, he's pretty much directed most of the major symphonic groups in the country by that point. But once Star Wars came out, he was gone.
Oh, let me tell you about this one thing I read. One of the episodes of Mystery Science Theater is a movie called Daddy-O. 50s guy's got to solve this mystery. He's a truck driver. He's a hip guy. And the soundtrack, and I read on TV Tropes, was by John Williams. And they said, yes, that John Williams.
I mean, the first time I ever ran to John Williams music wasn't Star Wars. It was a year before in the movie Silver Streak. And I mean, he just has a great knack for capturing the mood of what's going on the screen and just translating it through his music.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I
will say that
John Williams for days. Let me stop.
Yeah, about using music in games. Now with the advent of smartphones and iPads and iPhones and the iPods, I always wanted to put a lot of that orchestral music or single lute guitar music on my phone and play a bard.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And be the bard of the group, but have the music playing from my location at the table, so people will know when I'm playing music.
I'm using a Droid, and you can find all these soundboards of clips
from
TV shows.
Yeah.
But they have one out there called DIY Soundboard, where you can put your own sounds in it.
That's awesome.
And I could
I've run across a couple of websites that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, whenever I'm on the web and I get bored, I just start hitting the stumble upon button, and I've come across at least 3 of those.
Wow.
Where you can actually create your own music just by clicking in certain areas on a soundboard. And I remember one time I sat there for like 30 minutes just completely entranced, just creating my own music. But I mean, another thing is that I remember reading in Dragon magazine a long time ago that somebody who was playing a bard, who actually modeled the bard after Stevie Nicks back in the 70s. Yeah, and for creating these songs, they would actually use some of Stevie Nicks' songs. And I thought that was a wonderful way to play a bard.
Yeah,
for those who don't quite have their own creativity, they can kind of just pattern themselves after this or that.
Yeah,
and go.
Yeah, I'll say the one time we did do music where it became the most effective use was when we ran a Ravenloft campaign, and I actually went through and this was back in the days of Napster, before the RIAA woke up and realized how much money they were losing, when you could still download for free.
Right.
And I think I grabbed every musical score that I could think of. So my music score consisted of Bram Stoker's Dracula orchestral score, Interview with the Vampire orchestral score, Nightbreed, Clive Barker's Nightbreed.
Wow, that's a good pull.
Hellraiser, the first 2 Alien movies, and I think I grabbed 2 of the Nightmare on Elm Street orchestral scores that I found.
Cool.
So then what we did is we covered the whole the D&D gaming room with black fabric. We went over to Joann Fabrics and got bolts of fabric and covered the whole place. So we're all playing in a black room. The lights were down, and I had the music playing. But what they didn't know is I plugged in one of those sound effect CDs with different sound effects.
Yeah.
Like screams, chains, whatever. that you can just play for Halloween or whatever. Well, I ripped that and interlaced them between the songs.
Wow.
So they're sitting here listening to like some creepy music, and then the music stops, and then all of a sudden a real loud, sharp, shrill scream, and they're like looking around like, what the hell was that? It really set off. I'm like, okay, so we're in Ravenloft. These guys are actually like, I can feel the table vibrating because they're all bouncing their knee up and down, like out of nervousness. I'm like, okay, this music is working. It was a really nice game.
Okay, what one I want to recommend? This one is one of those your mileage may vary, but I used to use. Well, first I used the Carl Stalling Project, which is all Looney Tunes soundtracks. When I was doing like tune and stuff, but I also used Danny Elfman's Music for a Darkened Theater, which is that's like the best of Danny Elfman. He's got like the Batman suite on there, Beetlejuice, Nightbreed, The Simpsons, Tales from the Crypt,
Before Christmas,
Edward Scissorhands.
No, this is before Nightmare. This is put out before Nightmare. Edward Scissorhands, like I said, Tales from the Crypt theme.
Oh my God, I forgot he did that.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
All this other stuff. Hot to Trot. Remember that movie? But I think I got most use out of the Tales from the Crypt theme and the Beetlejuice theme on there.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Oh, and Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Of course. Because no Danny Elfman collection is complete without some Pee Wee Herman in there.
That's true. That's true.
Going off on a minor tangent, you realize he did an HBO special recently?
No.
Yeah. Every time I go on HBO, it's been on. Yes,
Danny Elfman or Pee Wee Herman?
No, Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pee Wee's Playhouse has returned. He on Broadway, no less, which is like, wow, better late than never for that guy. But sorry.
Wait, like I said, my use of music is kind of sporadic. Have you ever tried to score a game? I mean, instead of just playing the background, because
you're talking about setting up songs specifically to hit at certain points.
Yeah, I mean, something like that, a soundboard would be a natural for.
Yeah, soundboard would be great. The problem with it is, a combat sound or a musical score piece that is combat based is about 4 to 5 minutes long, and if you have at least 4 people sitting at the table, it's going to take more than that length to do it.
15 minutes.
Well, I don't think you'd have to get like micromanaging about it. You know, well then you're just a DJ, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, DM DJ, huh? I was thinking, well, just for that, just spread it out a little bit over, say, 3 or 4 songs that average about 4 minutes a piece. But you can get too far into doing that.
Yeah.
I've always.
You'd have to be, what is it, Johnny on the spot with the buttons when it was, okay, guys, so you've exited the forest and you've now reached civilization. Hold on a second while I reach over and hit the button for civilization music.
Well, like I said, that's what soundboards are for. We used them in radio. The guy bring it up. He had the preloaded sounds in there, and we hear all those goofy sounds of like the crazy morning shows and stuff. That's what you're using as a soundboard.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
So you could have it like loop or something like that. But like I said, your mileage may vary. It depends on how much you want to get into that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen DMs do that, and I actually see them do it well at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
But it can drive you crazy.
Yeah, it all depends on the creativity of the DM.
You want it to augment what you're doing.
Yes.
Not be what you're doing.
Yes.
So
I'd actually like to find out if any of our listeners actually do it.
Yeah, me too. That'd be really neat. THACOshammer@gmail.com, over at Dragonsfoot, over at Purple Worm. Let us know. That'd be cool. I forgot what I was going to say. There's another great resource for music for games. And it's called Jamendo. Jamendo.com.
Can you spell that?
JAMENDO.com.
Jamendo.com.
It is all Creative Commons, free to use music, and they've got tons of stuff. tons of stuff there.
Can
And
you
it's
spell
all
that one more time, sir?
JAMENDO.
Okay.
.com.
Jamendo. Okay.
Yes.
I got it.
And all kinds of artists release their stuff there. I mean, these are not known artists, but you get all the genres you want, all the types of music you want. I've got stuff. I've used stuff on Julie's show, in the background from them. Them and Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, who's another good guy to do.
Yeah, it says royalty-free production music and background music for business.
That's right. And personal use.
Yes,
Nice.
I like this. I'm looking at it right now.
Yes,
I'm liking this.
You can get a buttload of music off of those.
Yeah.
How much?
A buttload. A metric buttload. Absolutely. There.
Is that bigger than a crap load?
You damn right it is. It's a metric ton buttload. And I got a big butt, let me tell you. How do you think I pull out all these ideas? How do you think I wig it in D&D?
Brian, it kind of varies from person to person depending on how big your butt is.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. Okay, yeah. Tell us music and games we want to know about this. Like I said, go to the usual areas we told you about, and let's go over to. Let's do the snipe hunt. How about that?
It's time for snipe hunt.
If you only had a living brain.
What do you think? Escaped gorilla?
Listen, you're making enough noise to wake up the dead.
I don't have to wake him up. He's up.
It's time for a snipe hunt.
Snipe hunt. No, I'm not trying to usher everybody along.
No way.
We're walking, and there is the bugbear over there. We're walking. No, I'm not. I'm not a
from nowhere.
I'm a host, not a tour guide. Out of nowhere. Damn it, Jim. We're talking about the Darrow.
Nice.
We talked about the Duragar a while back on show number 7, I believe, and now we're going to talk about their other number, the Darrow, and it also works into the adventure we're going to talk about. So, Darrow, according to the Monstrous Manual on page 97, are degenerate race of dwarven stature, a la the Duragar. They have been skulking the Underdog for ages. They are short with skin the color of iced over lake, sickly pale yellow or tan hair, always straight, and staring eyes that have no pupils. Their features, yeah.
So my ex-girlfriend. All right, moving on.
They live in large underground complexes near the surface to the Kutoans and Drow, but deeper than the goblins and trolls. They hate sunlight. It will kill a Darrow if exposed for several days, but they will go out at night. And Darrow are pretty much, chaotic evil, you think.
So then it is true. The freaks do come out at night.
That's right.
Hey, that's a good song.
And let's see. The average hit dice are 3, but I always love when they say see below.
Yes, because that usually means that you can go as high or as far as you want to, as far as hit dice and ability goes.
I always found it interesting, as a side note to this, Darrow, I always found it interesting, the writers of some of these descriptors. For the one that I have in the Monstrous Manual with the black binder and the white covers, it says here that they were discovered by the Mind Flayers only 5 centuries ago, and by the Drow, but shortly before that. But it doesn't say which world.
No.
I just think somebody got a little creative and decided, we need a history for these guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Your world as a DM out there may vary, but I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, somebody got bored of just writing out facts and went, it's time to embellish a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference between, what are the main differences between Darrow and Duragar, other than the fact that Duragar can grow to giant size and go invisible?
Darrow have a lot of magical ability. They have, their savants can learn like up to 9 spells, and most of them, while most of them are, I'd say at least half of them are offensive in nature.
Oh yeah, they can be.
I'm looking at the list right there, and they can have magic items and so forth. I think Corey said something about this, as an example to his world, that Darrow basically are the dwarves who actually started getting seriously into arcane magic, and that this is what's happened to them.
Yeah. Right.
And I can certainly see that. That makes perfect sense to me.
To me, the Duragar decided we're gonna bypass the magic and we're just gonna follow our clerics and deal with divine magic. And the Darrow kind of went, "No way, man! Magic is magic. Let's deal with the other magic." And to me, I think that's where the split starts.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's interesting they have two underground dwarf type races. I mean, drowish type.
Yeah, evil versions of the dwarves. Yeah.
Yeah, but they have two. The other ones have like drow, and there's no what's the gnome counterpart?
Snurvnablin.
Snurvnablin. But they have two of them. That's very interesting. It's almost like it was one line and it got split off into two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's basically this is what happens when you dabble, or not even dabble, but get seriously into magic, both in the divine side and the arcane side.
Yeah. And their favored enemy, you'd think would be other dwarves or Duragar. No, the favorite enemy is man.
Yeah, I found that interesting
humans
as well.
More than any other race.
Mm-hmm.
They use them for manual labor or breeding. I don't want to know about that.
Well, it's not only that, but they're so pro-militant. It says here that every 20 years or so, the Darrow mount an all-out war against the other creatures of the Underdark. But they do hate the man the most. But just every 20 years, they're like, okay, let's all group up and go beat on somebody.
Yeah, let's go beat on the drow or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good way to basically weed out the weak of our society.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why they actually do it.
Yeah.
But can you imagine that? Even though drow deserve it, could you just imagine just out of nowhere, just hundreds of these creatures just start attacking just with no warning or no provocation?
Yeah.
And then the next thing the drow are like, what the hell? Oh crap! It's the Darrow.
It's their uniting war. Let's get out of here. No. Don't you say, hey, spiders, go do your thing.
That's true.
That's true. And they are also very cunning and smarter than the Duragar.
Mm-hmm.
Duragar go 8 to 18. They go 13 to 18.
Yep.
So they are a lot smarter than their cousins.
Yeah, I found these Darrow a great, I wouldn't say an adventure hook, but they could almost be used as what I like to call an adventure source.
Uh-huh.
You could have one of the 20-year Darrow wars, have them wipe out and kill an entire dwarven complex underground, and then they weren't finished fighting, so they just kept going. Well, an entire dwarven complex that's emptied gets filled with other monsters, and maybe some of those dwarves escape to the surface and went, hey, you adventurer party, you mind cleaning out our house for us?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's an adventure source. They just the way they are, their combat and ecology lends itself to some of the things that adventurers look.
This is how cunning they are. They do this war. They said it also serves for the purpose of starting rumors. Humans will certainly hear of wars being fought in the Underdark, and they will send hundreds of scouting and adventuring parties to the underground to investigate. The Darrow welcome this new source of slaves.
Yeah.
Is that cunning or what?
Yep.
That's just straight up mean when you think about it.
Well, they are.
Yeah. Yeah. The good thing is that at least the Duragar and the Darrow very rarely work together.
Yes.
Yeah, otherwise Underdark would be a very bad place.
Well, our next section I will prove what happens when they do work together. But for now...
Really? Oh, well, how about that? Foreshadowing.
Darrow savants are like, I guess they're like the leaders.
Right, the noble cast.
They're the mages.
Yeah, I would love to see actually an evil campaign and someone play a Darrow.
That would be interesting. That
would be one manipulative SOB when you think about it.
I've always wanted to do a Underdark campaign where all of the player characters are an evil type race, Darrow, Duragar, drow, whatever, and you've essentially been freed because your drow house that you were enslaved to has been destroyed, and now you just got to get home.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Voyager.
Turned on its head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Underground.
Yeah.
Wow. Star Trek out of space.
Yeah, these are they're little nasty buggers, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They could really cause trouble. So you guys used them?
I have used them. Absolutely, I've used them for the dwarves, enemy dwarves. I have a friend of mine who loves taking the wrong race and putting it on the wrong class and seeing if he can slide it past me. So he essentially made a underground dwarven mountain ranger. And I said, "Okay, what's your chosen enemy?" And he said, "Darrow." I went, not bad. Okay,
nice.
We can do this. So I've put a bunch of raiding parties underground of the Darrow, and yeah, you can use these almost as smart as they're not mindless orcs. They're smart tacticians, and they're going to set traps. They're going to use subterfuge. They're going to make pitfalls. They're going to do things that are going to make the party go, okay, the DM's cheating, but that's how smart these creatures are.
See, I compare with the Duragar, who are also very militaristic and also know how to plan and stuff, but I kind of see the Duragar as like the battle tacticians.
Yes.
They know how to fight in a battle. The Darrow are like...
Not to double stack my nerdiness, but to me, it's almost as if the Duragar are Klingon and the Darrow are Romulan.
I can see that.
I didn't want to double stack my nerdiness. I was
going to say the Darrow are more like the guerrilla fighters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, with accompanying nastiness to go with it.
Oh yeah.
So
I love the fact that they also mention in here that they don't share the love of gold that most dwarves covet, gold and whatnot, and they'll pay exorbitant prices just for a few potions or a magic item with a missing command word. They love magic that much.
Kind of like us old school gamers.
Yeah, exactly.
$25 for a necromancer's book. Anyway, that still sticks in my craw. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a bargain.
I know. Duragar. Let us know how you use it. The usual places, THACOshammer.com, at gmail.com, 405-806-0555.
Leave off the last 12 for savings.
Thank you. Thank you. What's the extra EAD for? Anyway, it's time for DM's Rag.
Well, that's quite a story.
I think it would be fun to run a newspaper.
And here it comes, right over the old plate.
The DM's Rag. DM's Rag, dungeon number 44, Train of Events. Now, you asked in the last section, what would happen if the Darrow and the Duragar worked together? Well, we're going to find out. This, like I said, was in dungeon number 44 and was written by one Timothy Ide, and he also did the illustrations.
Yeah, they're not bad at all.
I mean, this guy's a talented bugger. He's Australia, and it's all about a dwarven railroad.
Yes, folks, you heard that correct.
Yes.
A steam locomotive.
Yeah, and I'm going, yes! I love it!
I'm going, no.
Yes.
But anyways, the adventure's not bad at all.
No, it's not bad. In fact, it's very good. This is a mid-level adventure. It's for level 6 to 10.
6 to 8 player characters of level 6 to 10.
Yeah, about 56 levels. And they do recommend you should have a wizard and a priest of good or neutral alignment, and some fighter types will be useful, of course. Mm-hmm. This one, well, here's how it goes. The dwarves created a railroad system inside their mountain range that nobody else knows about except for the dwarves. Unfortunately, it was this one mining company, basically, who created...
The Targazhara.
Yeah. And what happened was they ran into some trouble, and after all these millennia, hundreds of years of running this railroad, they actually have to get people from the outside to help them. Because their trains are missing.
Which is kind of funny in its own right.
Yeah. And it just goes missing. And so, like, people haven't been paid. they aren't getting their stuff in the other towns that are inside the mountain. I love it said the union went on strike. Oh, they're unionizing now? They had a track party disappear. They've had two loads disappear. One just disappeared, and the load that they put with dwarven soldiers on to find it disappeared too.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're desperate. Let's get some outsiders in here. So if they disappear, nobody will get. No. Anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what was actually being thought.
Yep. So they hire adventurers and they bring them in there. And what happened was this one Darrow, who had his own band of Darrow with him, got an idea. He figured, he saw the railroad and go, whoa, we could hijack this so easy. So he got together with this Duragar who had his own clan. And they also have a Lamia helping them.
Wow.
Yeah. Basically, he throws up a wall of stone that hides the track that they built that leads to a dead end. And what they do is they take the track and the train's coming. Let's move it over here. And they go in there, opens the wall of stone. The train goes in, the wall of stone drops, and they put an illusionary wall over it. And they attack. They take the people. They take whatever they want. And that's what that's what the players have to figure out.
Right.
And there's just it's a train ride. Come on. It's got a lot of potential for combat here. The Pale Reavers, I think the Darrow group, and the Red Hand Slayers, the Duragar group, got encounters because they also have random encounters here.
Wow.
They got a patrol wolves in the cave. A couple of Galeb Dur getting there, and they have stuff like, oh, get this. Guess what their hated enemy is? The dwarves in the mining company, the rust monster.
Of course.
Yeah, it's going to sit and snack on the rails.
They said they constantly patrol and kill them, but they do have an encounter. One gets by. So it's like, okay, either way, the train's going to derail, whether it attacks the train or it attacks the tracks. And what's funny is the rust monster has to make a saving throw versus, I can't remember what it is, but it has to make a saving throw to jump out of the way because it's sitting in the middle of the track. And it has to
eating the rails.
It has to make a saving throw because if it doesn't, it's like a deer with the headlights going, what that?
So it's a steam train without the cow catcher. It's a rust monster catcher on the front.
They should have put one on there.
Made of wood.
Yeah.
If they were smart.
Yeah, a lot of wandering monsters in here.
Will-O-Wisp.
Giants, Galeb Dur.
Will-O-Wisps.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Giants.
Wow.
There, yeah.
Giant slug.
Giant slug. Oh, that's fun.
Character 6 to 10, really? This is looking more like 9 to 12 for me.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, just between, I just think because the sheer cunning of the traps and everything out there waiting for him, including especially the random encounters, I could see like a 7th or 8th level party having a really hard time with this module.
Oh yeah, I keep seeing something like on the order of like Buster Keaton's film The General.
Very nice.
Okay, you get captured, and then because they've torn one locomotive to pieces because the Darrow, the leader, wants to know how they work.
Right.
Of course.
And it's junk, but they still got one that's in okay condition, and the one you were riding on that they capture, escape and do like get it back out there and do like a railroad chase.
Right, like in the Wild West, the horses along the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, or like even like Temple of Doom. It's my
oh my God,
because you're on the track and you're fighting like Darrow on the coal car and all this other stuff, and it's this would be so much fun.
Wow, and this could be really really let's put it this way. This is something that is not your typical dungeon crawl, not by any means.
You're in a dungeon, but
Oh.
Yeah, it's a wild ride, no pun intended. It's a long adventure that actually has a lot of places where an average DM could just throw in other encounters as well, and this could actually be a long, drawn-out, protracted campaign if you wanted it to be.
To me, this is the kind of adventure that Dungeon did best.
Mm-hmm.
It's got real meat on it, and it's juicy, and it's making me hungry. But anyway,
me personally,
choke on it if you try to take too much.
Personally, if it wasn't a steam locomotive, I know it's just a personal preference. I don't want technology in my fantasy game. It's just me.
You got technology in my fantasy game. You got fantasy in my technology game.
Oh, you're one of those old Gygaxians who don't.
Well, that's the case that I might as well have a whole gnome, a gnome engineering company making me 15-foot battle mechs that can fight over a dragon, a storm giant. I don't know. It was one of the.
I mean, the medieval fantasy world is locked at a technology anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Bump it up a tech level.
But why bump it? But that's neither here nor there. That's for another episode. We'll get into that at some point.
Yeah, we're going to have this argument.
No, the adventure's a really good adventure, and as long as you can swallow the whole steam engine portion of it, it's actually a really good adventure. You could change it, and I probably would. I'd probably make it some magical construct of the dwarves, and it's all gears and whatnot, run off some kind of weird, I don't know, magic stone or something.
I could almost see this. I could almost see this in a campaign of mine, just being something that no one else knows about except the dwarves.
That's the way it's written.
Yeah, I could see this between like 3 cities just going under a mountain, and then all of a sudden their precious little railroad is also sudden. Dare I even say it is railroaded?
Oh,
this is the only D&D adventure where it's okay to railroad the players.
Oh,
yes, literally.
No, the puns are getting deep.
Yep. Get out your hip waders.
Yeah, because this whole thing's underground, except for one town that is outdoors, but it's surrounded by mountains, so nobody ever sees it.
Right. Yeah, and nobody would even suspect this is what's going down. Up until the dwarves get so desperate that they have to enlist outside help in order to have it done.
Although, playing devil's advocate, they've been. Well,
this
mining company has been for a couple of centuries, and you don't think somebody would think about how do they get their shipments?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would wonder.
They're faster. They're faster than us.
They would wonder, but I can certainly see, especially with a couple of dwarven fays like Dumathoin, who is all about dwarven secrets.
Right.
A couple of people, in that, just keeping it hidden from everything else, and everyone else is wondering how the dwarves are getting supplies from town to town to town.
Troops.
Yes, or troops that quickly.
You're at one end of the mountain range, this town, the other end of the mountain. We're never going to get. The orcs are attacking, and boom, there's the dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did they do that? Did they magic? We're getting magic residue.
Ancient dwarven secret.
Oh no, you didn't. No.
Yes, I did.
No.
Yes, I did. And I'm proud of it. Damn it.
How did you get my collar so clean?
They have a sidebar here about the initial ambush, how to run it, and they said it could take a long time. They give you some suggestions on what to use. You can use battle system skirmishes, battle system game. The Spelljammer setting has a battle system that you can use. But the last one I think is interesting because it says it can be simplified in the manner described by Ted James Thomas Zurovich in his adventure, The Siege of Kratos Freehold, which was reviewed in our second show.
Yeah,
that is correct.
And that is a very good way of doing it, because splits like units into like, okay, this unit is one character, this unit is one character. This user. And
yes,
just
that actually would work.
What I like, one of the things that I like in this adventure is something that a lot of the other first edition adventures did, but not enough for me, was the Laughing Vulture Tavern rumors.
The rumor table.
Oh,
yes. Love a rumor table when you come into an area, because to me, the rumor table gives life to not only the people in this town or wherever the tavern is, but it also gives life to the area outside. It tells you that there's other things going on other than this place had nothing going on until this event happened. You know what I mean? It gives life to the area to me.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And it's also a challenge. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to also say is that rumor tables are a wonderful way to get. I hate to use the term, but I have to. Is a way for a party to get off on the wrong track.
Yeah.
And just some. I know it's bad. I know I couldn't help it.
THACO's Hammer do not apologize for puns, folks.
Yeah, I don't know where these are coming from. I'm usually bad at puns, but yeah, I mean that is one of the better ways, for characters to try and just glean some information. And then all of a sudden, they come up with these conflicting rumors and stories and things like that, and then they're not sure what to believe or what to do. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I'm all about the rumor tables, always have been.
Oh yeah, and in the Duragar lair, they have one of Corey's favorite monsters, the Odiug.
Yeah, Poop Monster Supreme.
Yeah, they lovingly named him Dung Heap.
That's the best, Dung Heap.
And I got to get rid of their garbage somehow, I guess.
That's true. And I love the way, they got like a wooden ceiling with a hole over it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I gotta go take an Ogie I love the way
I gotta go talk to Dung Heap.
Yeah. I love the way they developed the characters in here too. Did you read about the Lamia?
Yes. Yeah. Her background information was very, very detailed. I really was appreciative of that.
Yeah. Very nice.
That's awesome.
Looking for her son.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really cool.
She's only in it for the money. She knows that Darrow and dwarves and trains are beneath her station. She's in it for money.
Yeah. Just to get by. And they give you some nice ideas for using this, like you said, in future games. I'd play the Steam engine as is and just leave it there as a secret for that the players have.
Yep.
Oh, we can get there when? Tomorrow morning? No. How'd you get here so fast? You got a mage? Well, yeah, but he doesn't have any of those spells. What?
You made what?
Yeah.
I could see like a character with like an engineering proficiency just be talking to the guy who created this thing, just nodding his head like like he's having an epileptic fit.
Either that or just have him bouncing up and down like a 13-year-old schoolgirl at a New Kids on the Block concert when the guy opens up the hood of the train and goes, "Have a look."
Cool.
Yeah.
Bundy, my dwarf engineer, man, you bring him down there, you're never going to get him out.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever.
Yeah. I retire. I don't want to adventure anymore. I'm going to try and recreate this.
Yeah, but you can call me. I'm going to run the train. You can call me Choo Choo Charlie now. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be working.
This is our dwarf Casey Jones. Okay.
And he better watch his speed.
Yes. But it is really good. That's dungeon number 44, Train of Events.
I'd have to say the illustrations are spot on.
First rate.
High quality.
First rate.
The maps aren't bad. They're basic enough to allow you to, if you wanted to, do it anywhere else. And there's not a lot of outdoor detail when they do the outside maps to lock you into a certain location. And you can use the encounters in the portions of the Darrow Duragar ambush and lair area for another campaign if you wanted to. Or
that's true.
Dungeon.
This is made to fit in anywhere. And like I said, this is one of the things that Dungeon did best. These kind of adventures.
Yeah, I agree.
It's crunchy. It's got some meat on it, and you can put it anywhere you want.
Mm-hmm.
Go find it, folks. It's really great.
So we're gonna give this thing a rating here.
I think we shall. What do you say, Corey?
I believe Dung Heap deserves it.
Okay, with Dung Heap, how many stars?
I'm gonna go 4.
Okay.
I think it's a good campaign. The only reason I'm not giving it a 5 is because I don't like the Steam engine, but that's just me. It's just me.
Well, seeing as the whole scenario is built around it.
Exactly, that's the only problem. If I got rid of the Steam in it, I could do something else. Same reason why, me personally, I don't use Arquebus in my game, but that's another whole episode in itself. But yeah, I give it a 4.
Okay, what about you, Brian?
For pretty much for the same reason, I give it 4. There's a part of me that's like, ugh, technology, ugh. But there's a part of me that's like, you know what? This could actually work. For just adapting it to my own campaign, this would be more used for the dwarves to shuttle troops up into the Broken Lands, where basically all the a good portion of the humanoids in my campaign world reside, and they're always threatening, the northern part of the Dwarven lands, and that's probably one of the ways to keep them at bay. But I mean, and to have this, here I go again, and to have this whole to have this operation derailed, so to speak.
Oh, God.
I got 1 million of them. I'm here all week, but just to have this whole operation threatened, and for it to have such long-reaching ramifications as a possible invasion from the Broken Lands, they would hire outside help, especially if they've already tried to do it themselves, and they failed. So.
Of course, being businessman, you think after the adventure, yeah, here's your money, but you know about this, so we have to kill you.
Yeah.
I could see a negotiating tactic like that, being like, okay, you are not going to leave here until you absolutely swear never to say a word about it, and back it up with a case. Ooh. Have a high priest or two come out of the woodwork and say, okay, you aren't going to tell anybody about this. Nobody. And
look, they have dwarven priests. They should be able to do something to them.
Yes, I would say so. And I would put that on. I would definitely make that a role-playing situation to where, where the party's basically like, we swear, we promise not to tell. Don't gaze us.
Well, just to make sure, here's a forget spell.
Yeah.
Well, Glenn, you want to pull this adventure?
I don't understand. I only got 25 gold. Where did I come from? I'm going to give it a 4.5. I like this one. Why am I giving it a 4.5? Well, because I don't know if I could run it.
Why not?
It just seems a bit beyond me. I mean,
how so?
Well, not beyond me. I mean, I love the concept and stuff, but I'm not all that organized as a team.
Yeah, this would take
this is
quite
the kind of thing. Yeah, this is I can plan and stuff, but this is the kind of thing if you're not on the ball behind the screen, this can really just either get out of hand with the players or just bog down.
It could run away from you. It could run.
Yeah, runaway train. There we go.
And Corey gets into the act.
Yes.
Pull this thing into the final station and let's give it a final. We'll say what?
4.25.
All right.
Yeah, 4.25.
That'll be it. So we're at the end of another one, guys.
This is it. Last stop. All aboard.
Here's your character sheet. Get a drink on your way out. Don't forget your dice. And don't lose your dice like I did.
Don't forget to email us or give us a comment on either of the websites that we belong on, and we'll get back to you and possibly read them online.
Yeah, and for me and the two Luddites here,
wow.
Brian, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. How about you, Corey?
Good night, everyone.
Okay. And I will see you, and this is GM Glenn saying I'll see you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's hammer. Bye-bye.
See ya.
THACO THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find him on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. Also, you'll find us on the Second Edition forum at dragonsfoot.org, or you can give us a call and leave a message at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.